window, huh? Go to Facebook.
All right. So whenever you're ready, Judy.
We're ready. Thank you all for joining us. Let me call the meeting to order. It is Thursday, July 22nd at 6:09. And this is the meeting of the Senior Services Advisory Board. Call the meeting to order. We have the agenda in front of us. It includes the treasurer's report, old business, the status of the renovation, plans for opening, the memorial board, the flower fund, and to review the updated strategic plan goals. And then new business, this was put on before Tuesday, but a consolidation discussion, which we won't have to have. And Karen will talk about that. And then the superintendent's report and the treasurer's report. Is there, can we adopt the agenda? Anybody would like to add to the agenda?
Can we talk about the budget? Can we talk
Dennis?
about the budget?
I wanted to add, I didn't hear if you had covered this or not, but I wanted to talk about the opening,
About the opening?
yeah, and a discussion on the scheduled activities.
Yeah, we have an item on the agenda called plans for opening.
Okay,
That's right. And then Karen, under new business, can we put the budget right there?
Yes.
That's where I would have thought the discussion would go.
Perfect.
So one change to the agenda, that being under new business to discuss the budget. Can I have the approval of the agenda, please, by raising your hand or saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the budget is approved. I mean, the agenda is approved. Kathy sent the minutes. I don't know if anyone had a chance to review them. Can we adopt the minutes?
I move to adopt the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
That was Sarah.
Yes.
Any discussion or corrections on the minutes? Call for the approval. All those all those to approve, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes approved. Treasurer's report. Dennis, do you have anything to report?
Nothing as of yet.
All right. Ben is usually here for our public comment, but I don't see him tonight. Do we have other public?
I don't see anybody, Judy.
Old business. Let's talk about the status of the renovation and the plans
Yay.
for opening.
So this week, the crew came on site from the, I'm going to share my screen so you can all see this, from the floor company. And okay.
Oh, wow.
So this is the kitchen. So what they did was when you walk in the front of the senior center, they laid this strip from the door to the back of the room, because that way they could go right off into the bathrooms and into the kitchen, and then they could go left off into the dining room. So this was the first strip of floor that was laid. And then, so you don't want to see that. You want to see that's going into the men's bathroom, and it looks very dark here, but it is not as dark as it appears. It's more like this right here. This is the men's bathroom. And it has tones of like a copper sheen, and there's gray, and there is brown, and there's cream in it. And what you're not seeing here is there's going to be a strip along the floor, like wall board, and that will be a dark gray. So that will really set, I believe, the paint and the floor off. This project should be done tomorrow.
Wow.
Yes. So
Great.
when that is done, DPW will, they may have already, because the kitchen was already being made progress on the kitchen, which is, this is what you're seeing in the kitchen. So they only had a little bit left to go in the kitchen. And they were going to be able to put all the sinks and the equipment back. So come Monday morning, Mary and Linda and Brittany and Julie are gonna be able to get in there and organize and clean and put things back together.
Great.
And with that will come the memorial board that will be hung up also. I purchased, and I know you're probably all gonna be sick of gray, but it was a tasteful dark memorial board with sliding glass. And it's able to be locked. And if we have the number of memorials, unfortunately, that I think we have, we may space them out and fill that up. And as we take people down and put more people up, however you guys decide you want to do that, you'll be able to just open those doors and do that. And I don't know if you want to give those to Brittany or how you'll want to handle those, but certainly, go ahead, Judy.
Are there shelves in there or is it just tack board?
It's tack board.
Tack board.
I think it's like maybe a couple inches deep, but you wouldn't be able to put stuff on the shelf. There's no shelves. It's
And
just-
how big is it? Is it like 18 by 24 or?
Oh, no, it's much larger than that. So when you walk in the front door and you look to the left, I'm trying to think if I have the paperwork that came with it. It's quite significant. It'll take up the wall when you walk in to the left side, not the door you're walking into, but the left door that you don't use usually when you're walking in, or
Right.
the right door, I'm sorry. It'll be in that alcove right there on the wall, and it takes up probably most of the wall.
Wow. Dennis, did you have anything?
Nope, I don't think so. Are we going to be putting a picture with a brief description?
We certainly
Maybe their
can.
obituary reading or
Yes,
something
I
like
was
that?
gonna
or-
say, if you want to put their obituary in there, we can do that. If we find, Brittany, I think has been looking for those that we might have lost that she recognizes, but I haven't received anything from anybody. But we certainly, if we have access to get a hold of their obituary online, we can certainly print that out nicely and put it up there.
Good.
So
Okay.
that people, and if, and I don't remember everybody by name, but sometimes when I see faces, that jogs my memory. So,
Mhm.
I know a lot of, probably about 50% of everybody, by name and well. And we might have lost some people that I'm not aware of. So,
Now, do we still have the pictures that were on the cork boards? So
Yes.
we can pull pictures from there if
Yes.
necessary? Okay.
Yep, we do that. So however you all would like to see that done, we can certainly hang their obituary, or hang a picture with a short write-up or type up a little something that can be read from outside the case.
Now, do you have the computer set up in there? So if necessary, we can look up an obituary.
Yeah, we will have that set up. I think our intention, we'll figure out where that stuff is gonna go next week, but yes, the computer is
okay.
still there. Yep, the computer's still there. So we'll figure out where we can put that. And
All
and let me just say, if it doesn't get put up for the opening on the 2nd, it will be put up shortly after that. So if you
Okay.
don't see it, Dennis, don't panic. It'll be put up.
Okay, all right.
So,
Okay.
We're gonna have to talk, Dennis, about how to manage that, how to
Yes.
make that call and how we gently
Well,
talk about that.
yeah,
I think for a while, at least while we're starting, I think it should be one of us because since Brittany doesn't know everyone by
Mhm.
face and stuff like that yet,
Yep.
I thought it might be better for one of us to do it
mhm,
for a while at least.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, she definitely is gonna need your help with that.
Yeah.
She's talked to
So-
quite a few people, but she hasn't been face to face with
Getting
anyone.
some
Yeah.
faces,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Right. So Dennis, can you kind of handle that for a little while?
Yes, I will.
Great, thank you. Can we talk a little bit about the plans for opening?
Yes. Brittany, you want to take that?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So, August 2nd is the plan. Well, it's going to be for sure because the floors are going to be done tomorrow. Our plan is kind of we're gonna go full open. So we're gonna do, so let me pull up just to have it in front of me, my activities. So this is kind of just me going off of what I saw within what was already done and what I thought would be good to bring back. And one of the things, so Monday, we have a walking club, which I think that was a thing that was done in the past. So I think that would be good to try and get that up and going again. I'm not sure if people will actually show up for the first one just because
And what time is it, the first one? Or what time
10
is it
a.m.
meeting? 10
10
a.m.?
a.m. Yes, yep, at the high school track. So I'll be there if anyone does show up. And if only a few people show up, I will kind of talk about that more too at lunch. When people are there, I'll just kind of mention that and the other activities. And then per usual, the euchre on Mondays. And bingo Fridays. And I think right now I have bridge on Wednesdays, and I know there's people that like to do hand and foot. If I can find someone who is willing to kind of coordinate that, that would be great.
Christina. Oh, there you go.
Actually, I've already talked with several people today about the hand and foot.
Okay,
Right now, we've got 4 people definitely interested.
okay,
A 5th one who will be out of town for a couple months, but when she gets back in town, she's interested as well.
okay,
And what time is hand and foot, Dennis?
Well, that was one of the things I wanted to discuss. I also know, okay, I was looking at Monday or Wednesday morning or Monday or Wednesday after lunch, because activity could be at one end of the building and our hand and foot could be at the other end.
absolutely, yeah.
But then I wasn't sure, like on Monday at 10 a.m., I wasn't sure if the senior center would be open. With you being at the track, Brittany, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so the center will be open. As long as you guys have someone that can coordinate that, the center will be open. So feel free at 10 a.m. if you want to do that Mondays.
And
Because
I had a
Mary will be
question.
there.
Mary will be there, yep.
Right.
That's correct.
I
Yep,
also
Mary
had a
will be there.
question
She
for-
always makes coffee too, so you'll have some coffee and drinks too.
Now, what about for game time and stuff like that? Are we supposed to get our own coffee? Because I know we talked about Julie was going to bring drinks to us.
Yes, so
So what
Julie will
about
be
when we're
here.
there for games?
Yep, so Julie will be there as well, and she can help with that, and we'll talk to her about that when she comes next week. And then, but you are correct. We should try to limit either the amount of people that are touching things. But if you're there and she's not available, if a couple of people wanted some coffee and you were to wash your hands and dispense the coffee and give it to those people, we just don't want everybody coming up and touching things.
Well, I agree with that.
Yeah, so for your safety and because of the Delta variant, if we could limit that to somebody, that would be helpful. And we'll have gloves there, so you could use gloves if you chose to. And of course, hand washing.
Yeah, and I'll probably be wearing my mask
Okay,
most of the time.
Yep.
I did have another question for either Karen or Brittany. I don't know who is looking into it, but at one time Karen had mentioned some kind of sanitary cards or something.
yeah, I've looked at plastic cards. So then that's something that we can do because then we can sanitize them afterwards. I've bought a couple of packs. You may enjoy them or you may not enjoy them. I don't know what you'll think about them. So we'll make those available to you. If you like them, we can obtain more. And for euchre as well. And if you don't like them, we can use we have quite a few packs of cards where I think we could rotate cards.
Dennis,
No,
how many packs does it take to play hand and foot? A
Well,
lot.
that's what I was gonna say. For hand and foot, you need one deck of cards for each player. So if there's like 4 of us there, we need 4 decks, and then we need 1 additional deck. So in other words, for 4 people, you'd need 5 decks. So it does
I'd
take a
like to
lot of
play hand
cards.
and foot.
And 1 extra. Okay. How
And
many?
we'll teach anyone that wants to learn how.
How
I
many-
haven't, there's a
like-
couple hand and foot people I have not talked with yet that may, it's hard to say for sure how many we have. I just know we've got 4 people so far. We've had as many as 8 before,
Okay.
so it's possible we might need 9 decks.
Okay. Okay. I will order some more then.
I told the people that I talked to today that at this meeting, I would find out if it mattered when we did it. I said Monday and Wednesday, either in the morning or afternoon, looked like we could do it then. It
Mhm.
didn't look like it would interfere with anything else. So if that's okay with you, Brittany,
Yeah, absolutely. Just let me know because if we have like euchre going on, we could do that on one side and then the hand and foot on the other side of the room or
Okay.
in the morning. You're more than welcome. We can fit it in whenever you guys feel is best.
okay,
Just let me know.
all right.
Sounds good. Anyone else have any questions about the opening? I do, but does anyone else?
Here.
Are we doing reservations?
At this time, we're not. There are no limits at this time on anything, and Mary has a plan for her cooking. So I think we determined it was gonna be a lot of work, and we're just gonna have to play it by ear in the beginning.
How does she know how many to cook for the first day?
Well, we're gonna go with the old kind of model of, what are you having on the first day, Brittany? Can you tell me?
Ham
We have
and
the
cheesy
ham and
potatoes.
Yeah, so cheesy potatoes can go a long way. She generally will cook. I think she's planning on, I won't want to speak for her, but I think we talked about her planning on 40 to 60 people. You may not have that in the beginning, but I also know that she can freeze some of her stuff.
Yeah, right.
So,
Right.
so what she's making will be the type of items that either we can use again or will be distributed to people that are there. So
Are people who have been participating in the Tri-County Office on Aging food distribution program being invited to lunch?
yes,
Yes.
we gave out a flyer last week that told them that we would be reopening and that they were welcome to come. And then if they didn't want to come, there were some other resources for food on there for them.
I had a
Dennis?
question. I've been telling people, but I wanted to verify if I recall, Karen, you mentioned going to be getting the food in one of those styrofoam things that close lids.
To go containers. Yep,
Okay, so people can actually take home whatever they don't eat
they
then.
can. Yep,
Okay.
they can.
Are we doing styrofoam? Or are we doing those cardboard type?
I can't tell you what she's gonna buy. I don't know if she's purchased them yet or which ones she's gonna get.
I just know that I'm not fond of the styrofoam.
Okay,
Recycling purposes, you know? That's
yeah.
just me.
Any other questions about the opening? I have one, but how can we be helpful? Do you want us, do you need some people like at the beginning to take reservations or to hand out masks or to answer questions, or how can we be helpful? And if we can be helpful, Brittany, could you call us individually? I mean, I'm willing to help. I don't know if others are, but is there anyone else who could help on August the 2nd to get the ball rolling or that first week?
Yeah, I'm good.
Let's see.
Okay, Dennis. Okay.
Yeah, if a couple of you could help welcome people back as they walk in the door. We will share, if you come a little early, and that could be like 11, because I think people usually arrive between 11 and 12. We're gonna have people paying at the window of the office,
What window?
in the office.
In the
behind the
township
bingo
hall?
machine.
No, in the senior center.
It's I
Behind
think the bingo
behind the
board used to
bingo
cover
machine.
that window.
Yeah, the
Oh.
bingo board, where the bingo board was, there's a sliding window there.
Okay, so we're gonna do that. We've decided that that will alleviate some of the problems we had with people congregating and piling up in the doorway. So we're trying to create more space for people. But Linda will take the money, in the window of the office. And then people, we're gonna have gift bags to give out to people. And they've got some fun little things in them for people, including the magnet and the pen that I showed you earlier. And then wherever they would like to sit, of course, they're going to be welcome. And some people may want some space and some people may want to sit together, and there's no restriction on that. So it's just going to be up to people's preferences. But there will be hand sanitizer at every table. And then we will have masks available for people if they'd like to wear masks and don't have their own. So I think it would be wonderful to have friendly faces to greet people as they come back in. So I think that would be perfect.
Great.
And we're
So-
still accepting the bridge card for the free meal?
Yes, we still have the meals for people that need help. And then Brittany can have the verification sometime off to the side where it's not in front of everybody.
Right.
And I would say, especially the first couple of weeks, people are gonna forget, I think, that it's not $3.50 anymore and that it's $4. So if somebody shows up and they have $3.50, that's gonna be okay. We're gonna say, just so you know, it's $4 now, but we'll be able to cover that for the Bath people and the people that are coming to see us. I think that's fair that we can do that. There's gonna be a lot of new for people to take in, especially since it looks so different in there now. But I think it's fair. They're not gonna remember everything, so we're just gonna walk them through it and help them out. So
Are you gonna set up 8 tables or 10 to start out?
I'm gonna set up the 8, I think.
Okay,
If we need to get another one out, I plan to be there. So if we need more space or help or whatever, I'm there to help.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I know in the past that we have given out tickets for people for their lunches. Considering that we're maybe taking money at the window,
Mhm.
we're not really going to know who has paid and who hasn't if they don't come up to the window.
Right.
Should we be passing out tickets to each person
Yeah.
that's paid?
No, was Dana saying no?
Pardon me?
Oh, Dana was shaking her head.
I think
Dana-
she's
Dana
saying
was shaking-
so people just don't walk in and go sit down without paying.
Yeah.
I think that's what she's talking about.
Exactly, yes.
Did she not? It's just a second, Dana. I just unmuted you.
Okay,
Oh, there you are.
I don't think anybody intentionally comes in and not pays, but we can always trying to keep track. If there's going to be enough of us, keep track of who's paid and who hasn't paid. Because you start getting tickets and we all get confused and we take them up to the window to get their food and some of us don't, some of us do. Yeah, I don't like tickets, but that's me.
Well, and there is a way we used to do sometimes in the, if we thought something like that happened, is we'd count the number of lines on our Brittany's sign-in form, and then go around, count the number of people in the place, and hopefully they agree, which means everyone paid.
And we can always ask, hey, we're short a couple people. Did anybody forget to pay? And then just leave it at that.
And they're
And it could
usually
have been
pretty
card
honest.
players or, right.
Right. Because
Okay.
sometimes I forget to pay.
Any other,
Oh, one other question. Are we also going to be selling the punch cards on the first day?
Yes,
Okay,
I believe that's the plan. So, yeah, so whoever wants one will just go up and pay for however many meals they want, and we'll keep track of that.
She actually, I think, designed you a new punch card.
Oh, really?
I'm working on it. We'll see what I come
Okay.
up with here.
All right.
And I think if we're gonna sell them, that we should have somebody else taking care of that besides at the window. A second person.
Oh, okay.
'Cause it'll go much faster at the window that way.
Well, I can have Taylor come help with that, for that day.
I'll be there.
Okay,
And Nancy will be there, right, Nancy?
I'm hoping to be.
Yep. So,
Um,
you know, I think we're gonna have plenty of help.
okay.
I will not be there. My mom is back home, and so I'm full-time caregiver again.
Well, that's good news.
Spirit.
Yeah, it is.
Anything else that we should discuss on the opening? I think that was a good conversation.
We're excited.
It is exciting.
It is, it's exciting.
The last thing to do is review the language that we talked about last week for the last month for the strategic plan. So at the bottom of the sheet that I sent out, the email I sent out, the 5 goals are listed, and I'll just read them as I wrote them after our discussions if you don't have them in front of you. Number 1 is to increase the number of participants at the senior center. That would be our first goal. All those in favor of that as a goal?
Aye.
The second goal, encourage the development of of comprehensive programs to serve Bath Township seniors.
Repeat that, please.
Sure. Encourage the development of comprehensive programs to serve Bath Township seniors.
Okay, I agree.
I agree.
Show of hands.
Yep.
Are you there,
Yes,
Dana? Oh,
I'm-
there you are. Okay, good. Number 3, continue to expand services to Bath Township seniors. In other words, build the program.
I agree.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Well-
I'm curious
well,
on that one as well.
Well, for instance, you know, we have all lived through the pandemic, and during the pandemic, we took advantage of online things that we never did at the senior center before. So maybe there's an online book club, or maybe there's an online lecture series on the great castles of England, or, you know, maybe we would, Brittany?
Sorry, just on that note, I've been sending out emails regarding a Tai Chi for fall prevention. That's kind of that's a service that is online. Like Judy said, you know, expanding services to online, making things maybe more accessible to some seniors who may not be able to make it to the center but still want to participate. So something along those lines is, I thought
Right,
that was.
so
a good-
that's what that means, expanding our services. So is there agreement? We can
I
work
agree.
out, we can work out the objectives. We're just getting the main goals here.
Yep.
Okay, and then the next one, Dana, this was word crafted just for you. Seek input from our seniors on unmet program and service needs.
Yay.
Would you support that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Sarah, are you with us?
Yep, I am.
All right. And then the last one is research and promote ride sharing opportunities for seniors to get to the center.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so
Yep.
those are the goals, and maybe next month I can sit down with 1 or 2 of you and we can kind of look at what some of the objectives ought to be under those goals, or maybe Brittany and I can draft some of the objectives and we can bring them back at the next meeting. But I wanted to take the goals as we had discussed them last time and cement them so that we all agreed with the wordsmithing. Dana?
Could we put the second goal you read us as the first goal?
Encourage the development of comprehensive programs to serve Bath Township seniors as the first goal.
Was that the
think
first? that wasn't the second one, was it?
Yes,
Okay, well, yes, and that one first, instead of expand the senior center.
the
My
first
number.
one, the first one is increase the number of participants.
I don't think that should be number one.
Really? Why?
Well, I mean, it's going to be one of our goals, but when you just say that's what our first goal is, you're going to read that and say, well, that's kind of goofy. All you care about is numbers.
I agree,
Well,
Dana.
the more people we get there, and we're gonna be able to have.
Right, but, okay, I mean, I just thought the second goal should be the first and then switch those around. I mean,
I will
Person-
present it that way at the next meeting and we can look at how we feel about it.
okay,
How's that sound? All right?
that's, yep,
Okay,
that's
good. Now, under new business, Karen is going to talk with us about the budget for
Yes.
2022. I know it seems a little bit early since it's just July, but the board, this has to come before the board in September. So
Yep, I-
now is the time to start the discussion. August, we submit our plan, and then September it gets presented to the board. Is that right?
That's
Karen?
correct. Yep, that's correct.
So you
So my plan is to, and I know you don't have anything in front of you, and I can email this out so you can see it. My plan is really, since like in 19 was the last kind of normal year we had prior to the pandemic. And our budget went up from 19 to 20 about $4,000. And then I had budgeted for 2021 about almost $141,000. And that was really investing in staff and investing in the meals, of course. And let me just see where I'm looking at. Utilities had gone up, so that's not something that directly impacts the center, but needs to be taken care of. And then building improvements. And so I think from what I've known of you all, as long as I've worked with you, you really value the staff time. So I would like to talk about that a little bit because I know that's an important issue for you and for providing services to the people that come to see us. So Judy had kind of alluded to it, but I had proposed last week at the board, or this week at the board meeting. God, it feels like it's been a week ago. Of combining some things together, but that did not seem to be a popular idea. And I am okay with that. I am completely okay with that. Hear me loud and clear. I am okay with that. This is an important area. I threw out an idea and it didn't stick, and that's okay. We will retain the Senior Services Advisory Board as it is, and it will remain intact. So don't panic. Don't let people think that it's going to go away or it's going to be lessened. I'm trying to do what's right. There are a lot of areas in the township that have been, I call it siloed, that have been hanging out there by itself for a long time, and they don't feel part of anything. The senior center itself has a good staff and a good amount. There's a good number of staff. So it's not as if the senior center only has one person and they don't have anybody else for support. I mean, we have a great staff there. So I would like to talk about what your goals are for senior center staffing and what that might look like for 2022 or 2023. But most importantly, 2022. So I'm open to your feedback. Miss Judy.
I would like to see at a minimum 35 hours a week at a minimum for the director.
Okay. Now, in the past, you have all advocated for full-time director. Do you feel like that we're getting there? I mean, I think there's a lot of programs, and I've discussed a lot of programs with Brittany in terms of like the elder law. We haven't done that in several years.
For the My Cafe.
My Cafe, I'm sorry.
I think there's enough work for a full-time person. I firmly believe that.
Are you
Okay.
sure only with meeting 3 days a week though?
Well,
Because
what I
we
had,
went from 5 down to 3.
yeah, but I think sometimes the service, I think there's a difference between the days we're open and the days we're not. And I think Brittany would be able to help people, even on the days we weren't open, and she would be able to meet with people privately in the center, which hasn't been able to happen because the senior center was packed every day of the week. But I looked at things when I was thinking about this, like the My Cafe. We worked very closely with United Way 211 program. We work closely with Tri-County Office on Aging. Some people that don't come to us still need meals, so we work to supplement their food programs. I'll tell you, Brittany did an amazing thing. The diaper bank was giving away all their incontinent supplies, and Brittany went and loaded up our township van and brought them all here so that we could start up the diaper program again, the incontinence.
Yay.
She packed that thing full. You guys would really be
We have a lot.
impressed with the picture.
It's great.
So we're gonna try to get that going again.
Is the diaper bank going to be available all the time, or are they shutting down?
So the two ladies that did the diaper bank, one's leaving, she's moving, so she's unable to do it. And the other one is just focusing on infant diapers.
Okay.
So we
I-
will, so we will be the only diaper bank.
So where are we gonna get supplies?
We're gonna work on that, but for now we have quite a good supply to get us hopefully through a couple months. And Karen and I will be working on trying to figure out where to get more.
Yeah. Either
I
get-
have a lot of people that asks me where they can get rid of their supplies, and I tell them to go to the senior center and talk to them. Actually, I have 2 or 3 cases from when Mark's aunt passed away that I have to get up there. And so, but I've been telling everybody to take their supplies there that have come to me.
And that's wonderful. As long as they're like clean, usually unopened is better, like secured in the plastic. But as long as they're, if they have been opened, as long as they're clean and they look in new condition, I think we're fine with that. Miss Judy, I see you.
That's a great way for us to partner with local churches as well,
Mhm.
to ask for those supplies and also to provide those supplies. But the question I would have for Brittany is, in meeting those women who did it before, who were their suppliers? What kind of a partnership did they have with suppliers? And can we reestablish that partnership for our community?
Yeah, so I believe they got a lot of their supplies through like hospice patients who, they had a bunch of supplies, and when they passed away, those supplies were then donated to these two ladies who then were the diaper bank. And I actually need to get in contact with, her name is Teresa. She has a contact for me that I need to get from her. So we're working on that. Hopefully
Well,
soon.
that's a good segue to hospice, because we have some great hospice providers in our community, and it's
Mhm.
great to bring those people into the senior center to meet our seniors as well. So it could be a
Absolutely.
really good program match there.
I
But I'm
agree.
also not opposed to writing for a grant or
Right.
working with actual manufacturers to see if they would donate, or they have some type of program. But I really think we had almost 20 people before that were taking part in our diaper bank program. And I think, 20 people may not seem like a lot with the senior population in Bath, but that's a critical supply for people, and those are very expensive.
Very expensive.
And I know the Catholic Church was amazing when my mom was in a long-term care facility. And that was something that was my responsibility to purchase for my mom. The Catholic Church donated those to my mom, and that was huge. That
It's
was
very
huge.
expensive, yeah.
Yes. So
Dennis?
I would also like us to, possibly building a second storage shed out back. Because if we've got that many diapers, we don't want to take up a lot of our facility that we're actually using with
Yeah, they're-
supplies like that. So I think we should,
they're actually in the basement right now, the township. So
I personally think that would be a better idea in the basement. You put them in the shed, you may get mice.
well, it
Digging-
depends on how good of a shed you make.
Yeah, but sheds are sheds.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So we'll work through that, but I'm not even opposed to making this a long-term program and finding grants and things of that nature. I think we have to, of course, we have to see how it goes when we first open and how many people are in need, but I think that could be a critical gap.
Again, that's a really good feed for local churches for a local mission.
Okay,
You know, we've
like
got
it.
lots of little churches, you know, they're looking for local missions. That's a really good idea for a local church, for a local mission. But I
agree.
think it's great. I think it's a really good idea.
Yep. And
The
then
heart-
Clinton Transit too, and I'm sorry if I interrupted you, Nancy, but I think there's a lot of connections that Brittany's position can make in the community and outside of our community to find and give support to our seniors.
And I would really promote the idea, the concept of looking at a full-time director. There's
Okay.
plenty of work. Especially when 25% of the population in the township is over the age of 60.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
huge population out there that we can serve,
Okay.
even if it's just with pickleball.
Mhm.
Now, I would like to see if we do put on a full-time coordinator or director, I would like us to see the senior center available for more hours, like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, to be used as a cooling center, or during the winter, possibly as a heating center. When people, have problems with either the heating or the cooling.
I think that's really important. Especially with this peak charges that consumers is giving us right now. I mean, they're telling us not to run our air conditioners between 2 and 7, the hottest part of the day.
Mhm. Okay, so that, I'm gonna put that on our list, Dennis, as a goal to work towards
Okay.
the heating and cooling center. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the budget and see if we can work in a full-time position. I'm not opposed to that idea. Even though the center is only open 3 days a week, I think there's services that need to be located and need to be provided. And even if Brittany's not the one providing them, or the position, we're making those connections for people. So,
That's critical. Thank you, Karen, so very much.
okay. And then, so I put the shed on my list, Dennis, because I do know that shed needs some love, and we may need a bigger shed. So I put that on there. What we
Yes,
also
because
need,
I know that with all that medical equipment in there, it was pretty packed at one time. In fact, I think we even had to move some of the things back up to the garage up the hill, I think.
okay. So we're going to, that's another program that Shelby, we loaned out a lot of medical equipment during the pandemic. And to be honest with you, I did not track where it went, because sometimes people needed stuff, and we had a couple of more dire situations where people said, like, I need a shower chair or I need a wheelchair. And honestly, we were just trying to help people at the time. So some of our stuff has been depleted and we may not get it back. And so, and I'm sorry, that's my fault. But
I don't think that's a problem, because we had people had stuff for a year that didn't get returned, so.
I know, but I'm just
It's
saying,
okay.
I take responsibility for that. But I felt like at the time people needed stuff, and I wasn't gonna try to track it. So we will need to, and Brittany will facilitate this as well, donations or things that we can pick up at low cost or no cost. It seems like there was quite a bit of run on walkers that people could sit on, because that's a thing even for my grandma. She can walk, but she can't stand for very long without needing to rest. So those seem to go. And then there were some canes and some shower chairs. So I think that, we can look for those items in our community, or make those announcements, those connections with churches, as you've mentioned, Judy, and then just be looking at, Goodwill or reaching out to different places and trying to find equipment.
Just search the marketplace. There's a lot of times free stuff on the marketplace.
Okay.
Also, Brittany, could I suggest that you call CareLink in Hazlet?
Oh, yeah.
Because like my dad died, and the next day they came and they were picking up things that I had rented from them. And they had this huge truck that they were just stuffing full of all these things that they had been going around the county picking up. What do
Wow.
they do with all that stuff?
Oh,
You
wow.
know, maybe that might be a feeder for us.
Okay. That's a good idea. Thank you. And then the outside of the building is worrying me. Ben thinks the siding is rotten. So we probably are gonna need to do something on the outside of the center in 2022 to make sure that we're sealing that up and redoing that. So it could get the outside could get a facelift. So, but that's something that Ben and I will look at. My intention would be to keep the same colors, but it might be steel siding instead of the wood siding, and then we might have some different stone on the front or something like that. But so we'll look at doing that as well. The front doors have been an issue, and I'm not trying to be nitpicky, but I know that we've had that, there's a mat there because there's a threshold. And then when you come inside, it drops down a little bit. So we're gonna try to work and look for doors that don't have that threshold so that there isn't a trip hazard there. So we're just gonna try to look at things that might be harmful to people or they might trip on. I mean, some people don't pick up their feet well. And when you push a wheelchair in there, it's a little difficult because of the angles and the difference in height. So we're just going to keep an eye on those types of things, and where we can replace things, we'll make improvements.
And I know with those doors, something to keep in mind for the new doors is we had issues with getting a gurney through those doors.
Oh, yes. Gurneys, wheelchairs, yeah. So, and they're going to continue to be the auto open doors. So we'll make sure that. Thanks for saying that, Sarah.
No problem.
I know my mom was in a heavy duty wheelchair, and they don't always fit the same places that those smaller wheelchairs do.
Okay, I'm trying to get my dog.
Okay, so anything else on the budget?
Actually, I have one more thing about if I'm actually looking at us way up again. If that does occur, what are we going to do about parking?
What was your question, Dennis? You're thinking about what?
Well, I'm thinking about our numbers going up. I really think they're
Numbers
going
going
to
up.
start going up. But then I'm concerned with the numbers going up. What are we going to do about parking? Because we were at a point there where people were having to park on the grass. So I think that's something we need to consider, especially with our goal number one about increasing the number of people there. We've got to also be thinking about parking.
And you're talking long-term, I believe. So
Yeah.
this is a budget issue that you're bringing to Karen's attention.
Right.
So I'll work with Ben and see where he thinks in terms of that. He's got an amazing brain, and see if
Okay.
there's areas like when you come in between the DPW building and the senior center, we may be able to add some spots there. I don't know. So let's brainstorm. I've also been thinking about adding, so it's hard because the police have to come in through the main parking lot. And that can be kind of dangerous sometimes if they're traveling at a high rate of speed. I've been looking at making accessibility for them to Drumheller Road. So maybe if I were to do that in a couple of years, maybe we could rearrange some things and make some more spots. So
Okay.
we'll keep an eye out for that, Dennis, and make
Okay.
sure that it's safe for people.
Good thinking, Dennis. Thank you. Anything else on the budget that we need right now? Now, we meet again, August must be about the 26th. Is that right?
So I can share with you what Brittany and Mary and I put together. And then there will be, I'm not kidding, 4 days probably before I give that to the board. So I'll try to share that with you all before then, and maybe we can interface and talk about what we see or what we're worried about.
Should we have a special meeting?
Well, at this time, I think I can make it work without a special meeting, but if you would like to have one just to go over it and give me your A-OK, I would appreciate that. Do you want Taylor to try to make some arrangements for that?
I think that would be good. I'm hesitating because I'm going to be gone from the 8th to the 12th, but other than that, I'll be around.
Okay. I'll talk to her about that and I'll see if we can find a day that might work. Does the afternoon, evening? We'll try to figure that out. I'll have her call each of you and talk to you a little bit about your schedules.
And we could meet in person, couldn't we?
Yes, we can. Yeah, you can.
Unless we like this Zooming. I'm tired of it myself.
If we Zoom, then people can make dinner while we're Zooming, right?
That's right.
Or do
Works
dishes,
for
yeah.
me.
There are advantages, aren't there? Anything else that we need to talk about right now?
About the budget or something else?
Well, the budget right now, but
Okay.
something else. We're done with the budget.
Okay, just Dennis, I do need the password for that, for the flower fund card. Because that flower fund card was specifically just for flowers. So I don't want to use my own money and being reimbursed because it would come from somewhere else. So if we could just figure out what
Oh,
I did
right.
with the password.
Okay, I'll look through my paperwork again.
Oh,
Okay.
Dana.
I know. We changed it. I know we did.
Yeah,
Anything else?
Nope, that was it for me.
Nancy,
No, nothing, I'm just holding my hand is all.
Sarah,
Sorry.
Nope, nothing for me.
Dennis,
I'm fine.
great meeting, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate your
you.
time. We'll talk next week, Brittany, all right?
Yes, I'll give you a
Thanks a
call.
million. Meeting's over. Thank you very
All right,
much,
Thank
Karen.
you.
Bye.
Bye.